Hello once more, viewers. Welcome back to Farmland Flats. Yeah, we're continuing in this modded City Skylines 1 build. Fair few workshop assets added. Most of the download content is included. Yeah, I mean, if I knew what I was doing, this would be dangerous. Anyway. So, here we have the little overview to start with. As you can see, we have an issue with not enough workers, and if we go in over here, there's quite a few places saying this now at an industrial level. This is a problem. So I'm going to hit pause. We've had some issues with power availability. It looks quite good at the moment because the wind's blowing. I am very, very tempted to think I need to put another power station in. I'm not entirely sure where. One won't fit there. Nor in this little industrial area here. There just isn't space. I certainly don't want it in the middle of the town area. So I'm pondering over here. Over here is likely to be a sort of another little area that things get put into. I can easily tee off up here somewhere and find space to put some power in, and I can just link it straight over. So that's item 1 on the agenda. Item 2 is dealing with this, which is going to see much more housing put in over here. So, without further ado, let's get into it and start looking over here. Now, this is going to be it's going to be a road coming in. I'm going to put a little frontage road down here, but it's going to come in and sort of come off something else. I want this road to eventually go over here anyway. So what we're going to do is grab that and do that. There you go. And everything around here is going to frame off this road here. So we're going to come into this area. And then I want something that comes round here. This is going to be a sort of a commercially area, so it's going to have access from the back. I want people to be able to get into it, but I don't want junctions particularly close to other junctions. Like I don't really. I mean, there's a few here, like this short little road here. This is sort of the bare minimum, as long as that's not going to be hugely high traffic. I don't want a lot of traffic down here. What I'm actually going to do is let's go into a smaller road. This bit down here is stuff that I think is a 1U. If I go in and I keep zoning on, turn off the road grid lines, I may. No, you can't. No, worth try. Sometimes you can stick these roads in actually on the little grid. Don't want that. And then that can come up here like so. And that'll do for the stuff that's going to be in that area. This is going to be able to be another industrial area. So we're going to bring this out here. I don't really want it to kill all the trees, but it is what it is. That can come down there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put power stations and things here, and then other stuffs over there. So we'll keep this quite simple. Like that. Power. See, I've got access to the big ones. I don't want to spend that sort of money on it. The reason I've got the money currently is because I took out several large loans. Or there at least one fairly large loan. Tie that in over there. Right, that should be the power issue sorted. If I hit run, should see a huge amount of additional electricity kick in. Yeah, and at some point that power little complex over there needs a bit of detailing work. So next is over here. So again, I am going to go into fast forward mode, and I am going to stick in a fair bit more housing. Where are we going to put it first? I'm going to use the same style. So we're going to come along here, and we're going to come down, and I don't really want to go any closer than that. So no, not coming down much further than the bend in that path. But I probably don't even want to go that far down just because of that. The simple solution for that one is, I might as well turn on the names, is turn that on, come in here for paths and just grab a simple little path. And I might as well tie it in while I'm at it because I can link things in over here. But actually, while I'm at it, why not do that? Another way for people to walk around. So, we're not going to be going much beyond this area here. So, with that in, I'll get on with it and I'll be back to you in a minute. Okay, so that's some house framing. I have got the funding for a few little extra bits and pieces. I'm going to stick in a park there. I quite like those parks. And then come in and just tie its pathway in there a little bit like that. And I think like so. Eventually that might even tie off at the back. That'll help some people in the area. I am going to put a school in over here. It's not going to be the village school again. I'm going to go with a more urban-y type school. I think the school is going to go there. And as usual, that wants a playground. Which in this case is... put it there and I need to adjust that road. I'll put it there and adjust the road. As simple as that, really. Yeah. So I do want the ability to put some more houses. Houses in that area are probably fine, and then let's get rid of that path. That'll do. Over here's the little shop area. We'll keep with that. I also want a medical centre, but this one, not content creator, I do want, again, the UK style one, just because I think it looks better. So that's going to go there. I've then just got enough to put a car park in next to that. So that's a huge amount of money spent. Next up is dropping in the houses. So again, I shall be back in a minute. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that, actually. These areas here just give some green space, which I quite like. What I just need to make sure is the power jumps through. Yes, it does. That's good. Just some green areas. I can put things in here later if I need to. More. I may stick another little bit of commercial in there as and when the demand pops up. The only other thing is, at the moment, there's no way into this industrial area on foot, which I think is needed. So I'm going to go in and get rid of that. And I'm just going to put a path in there like that. Fairly straightforward. The reasoning for this is really it's just walkability. This will allow people to go where they need to go without necessarily having to drive everywhere. Again, that would be nice if that could have a gate of some sort, but don't really have one. Hopefully that'll see a fair few more people move in. We've got a little medical centre, we've got a school, which should assist in this area. Like I say, eventually this road will connect up here, and there will be more housing in this with more space. We've got a little city park here. I'm actually tempted to put something else in this area here. Not quite sure what. And this area here will just be open barrier space. I think what I'm going to do when I've got a little bit more funds is I'm going to put some trees along this area here. No point putting them too close to the industrial area, as they will all die. So let's hit run and wait for the chaos. This may, with a bit of luck, deal with some of this housing demand. We shall see. Oh yes, water. Sworn I put the water pipes in. Obviously I did not. Okay, my mistake again. Yeah. Now, the game has a way of telling you you've made these mistakes, especially when you have not enough money. Oh dear, this could be interesting. There was another loan available. No, there isn't another loan available. Budget, no. Taxes. This is a slightly cheaty trick. I'm just going to run this for a few minutes. And then we're going to stop, or a few seconds rather. And drop it back down. Yes, a lot of people start complaining and then stop complaining fairly quickly. That is a very cheesy way of getting money if you run short. It's one I try not to use very often, although I do feel justified in using it every once in a while. I'll do that. Basically, I mean, I will justify using that every once in a while when I don't think I've got a choice. And if that isn't like a kid in a candy shop, as the saying goes, I've got no idea what is. Right, I do now have a little bit of spare cash, so I will leave this in fast forward mode for yourselves. I'm going to come in here and drop some trees in and just try and make this area look a little bit nicer. Yeah, so I mean that was fairly quick. I mean, this humongous number of people over here busily upgrading. What is the land value like? Is that... Oh, the land value is actually rather good. That's probably why people are upgrading. See, it's not so brilliant elsewhere. How's this Tesco's doing? Have a little look. Yeah. Not many visitors. It does have... it is picking up employment. This is, again, probably why I was getting the... not enough workers flags over here, as the everybody was, oh my god, they're all queuing to move in. Yes. We've still got a lane closed on the motorway, as you watch. They all go around it. Wonders of Traffic Manager. I mean, literally all I've done is go in there and tell it, you're not using that lane. You're staying in your lanes as you come down here, and when you get to the end, yeah, you can change back in. Some of them do, some of them don't. I probably should leave them in that lane, but some are merging back, doesn't matter. And then there's the cones. I'm looking at how to create assets, because I want some signs for all of this that don't seem to exist. So I'm going to have an investigate. It's something I've done previously for other games. Immortal Words, how hard can it be? Oh dear, never mind, I've said it now. Yeah. So yeah, there's a few other little bits and pieces we did here. More of this fencing. This is from the Railroads of Japan set. As just like railings, which I think actually look really quite nice. Just blocking off the area where children might play from the main road. A little bit along there. I'm not doing the rest of it. I don't really need to. And then we come up into this area here, which... I was originally thinking, do I flatten all this out? But actually, with these little single unit wide houses, they adapt really rather well to being on sloped roads like this. You can go, I mean, as long as it's not too steep. Obviously, if it's too steep, they do look a little bit silly. But it works. 7 students enrolled at the school, there's probably more staff. The hospital's role is basically just to help make people happy. And we are losing money. Let's have a little look. Can't really put those up. Budgets. I can drop the water budget back down now because I put that extra water tower and stuff in. I'll probably drop it further than that. There is a mod that optimises this, and like it'll go in and say, that should be just here, and it'll dynamically change those rates for you. It's not that I think that's cheating, it's that I don't like the idea of things making adjustments like that in the background without really being in control of what they're doing. Let's come over here. How's this coming? How's the high school doing? Yeah, just picking up a fair number of students. Car parks over there are busy, so... Roads around here aren't too bad. I'll say this is based on part of Barnsley with the A628 coming in. This road is one of the main roads in. There's quite a lot of properties built along it. It's an old town that's sort of adapted. It's not really grown this way. There's a few other ways in, but yeah, British city, not uncommon. One of the main roads in is a fairly narrow street. I mean, they've got 4 lanes on it, but they're quite narrow lanes. So yeah, it comes up here to what is really a rather bizarre junction. The real version, this actually goes to 4 lanes, so you've got 2 straight on and 2 round there. If the traffic ever gets a bit heavier, I might consider it, but frankly, this isn't long enough. Oh yeah, and Penny Pie Park, it levelled up. There's actually enough entertainment in there to get it up to level 3, which I didn't realise. There's got far more entertainment in there than I realised. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, so we've still got demand. So we're back into making money again. We've still got more housing demand. I suspect what I might need to do, in fact, actually, I'm fairly sure this may actually be part of the problem, is the game isn't seeing all of this as satisfying housing. Don't know. Anybody does know, note in the comments would be welcome. If it's when you put housing down, if you don't mark it out as a housing zone, whether it gets ignored. But we shall mark it out as housing. I think I may put another path in. Sorry, I want all on except road guidelines, so I can do that. It took me an age to work out how to do that. And then over here, where it wouldn't let me build a house for some reason, I'm just going to put a path. Seems to work. This bit I'm going to fence off as if that's part of the school's playing area. That seems to make some sort of sense. I'm tempted to put more houses in there. In fact, I'm not tempted to, I'm going to. Originally this area was going to have a school, but since I built the school on the other side, I don't need it. So. We shall drop in more. Just like the way it does that on corners. Alright, drop in a little bit more housing there, and again I will tell it that's house zoning. Yeah, there we go. Let's see, they should start upgrading again fairly soon. And that's the Southcote estate. Put that on the end of it. And the moment you add the word estate on the end of somewhere, the local police will shudder, thinking, God, that means it's going to be a crime-ridden hellhole. Speaking of police, some all the way down there. There's none over here. Do we have a small little historic police station? Yeah, it's a nice building, but it looks wrong for the UK. One of these little police boxes, however. You get in that. Fairly cheap. No patrol car capacity and basically does nothing, so I'm not going to bother with that. Yeah, okay, we'll leave that. I'm going to do a little bit of detailing. I'll be back with you after... Ooh, good grief, I've just noticed how grey it's gone outside. Anyway, never mind. I will be back with you shortly. Yeah, I think that looks alright. So that's more housing. How far are we from the next level? Yeah, 400 odd. So yeah, I need to get some more in to get up to the next level. So I need to think about where to do that. Gone great. It's gone absolutely tipping it down outside now. Still have a bit more industrial need. Tempted not to do anything about it at the moment. I just need to work out where I'm going to put some more houses. I have got this little road. I think I'm going to increase just this area here a little bit. Yeah, I'll bring that road down, but I'm not going to go beyond that road, if that makes sense. Turn everything back on. Going to come down here to there. I see no reason not to link that into it. And then this is going to be the sort of housing area where we have space for reasonable numbers of houses again. I think it's how we're going to do that. And I'm going to go in and you know, I never get this right. I never get which side of the road I want that on to be correct. That's that, that's that. And then that and that. Okay. Zoning off on those completely. And then turn it back on like that. Yeah, see, that's fairly straightforward. And again, obviously the water needs to be connected and along there as well. And this area here should be able to just zone in housing, which I'm rather hoping it will do. And then all that along the back as well. This is now trying to get me up to the next level. The next level does give me high density housing. Now, as I said, I'm not going to be using a great deal of it. It also gives me another tile. And what I'm going to do is I will have a few smaller, mid-density is probably the way to describe it. We're going to create a couple of little council estates, should we say? Not too many, not too big, just a few of them. We are back to making money, which is good. And that road there is going to see housing as well. I think I got that in the zone. I definitely have now. And thought I did that as a... thought I did the shops along there as a zone of their own as well. Maybe not. Maybe it's time to. I'll just do that along there. Burton. Yep. And that can be given. Not policies. Oh, styles. I've got my... old retail. That'll do. That may get rid of some of those. Yeah, it's going to get rid of a few of them, but hopefully some others will come back in that look slightly more suitable for the area, shall we say. We'll see what we get. How are we doing? Yeah, we're growing very, very slowly. Okay, so I need to cram in some more housing. Along there it is. Now let's just check the zones. Yeah, it's all covered. So that's just a few more in the hope that might, between these two areas, help. Ooh, look, fires. Well, you know, it's only a little fire, isn't it? I mean, it's not that important. I'm going to just... I think I'm going to grab that as a screenshot. because I can. So there. It's the saying, come home to a real fire? Yeah. Anyway, fire engines are coming, although they are stuck behind other traffic. Yeah, it's just one of those things. The fire station is way over here. Like I say, eventually there's going to be one up here. Unfortunately, the one I want to put all the way up here is the big one, which is good. It's very good. It's also extremely expensive, and I don't have anything like the money to do it currently. So yeah, just watch this. I love these little animations like this. Absolutely brilliant. Apparently the second version of this game doesn't have things like that. So let's see him drive straight through that fireman, nice and slowly. They are slowly putting the fires out. It's one of the things I discovered while I was just letting things run in the last episode. There was a fire sprung up over here. Things seem to have recovered. One or two houses went up, and the first thing they did was light up all the trees. The fire engines can't put the fires out on the trees, so that just sort of carried on spreading. Hopefully we'll be putting all of this out fairly soon. There is something you can do with traffic managers, like put a small road in here and say only emergency vehicles can use it. I think, brilliant. The problem is it's so near another node it causes all sorts of other issues. So hopefully these fires will be out before too long. I mean, if I go into my fire service at the moment, you can see the fire risk is absolutely huge, and some of these backing onto all these trees is a little bit of a concern. I'm actually tempted to just stick another one of it. Oh, yeah, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was. These are actually bigger than the main headquarters one, which is interesting. Yeah. Well, I was going to put one of those in. Ooh, what's that one? Fire station. Yeah, that's even bigger. See, I could put one of these little ones in, but I mean that was not too bad. But it's quite low capacity. You spend quite a lot of money on something that you don't need very often, but when you do need it, you really, really, really need it. There's like this area here is just a little bit charred. There's one or two houses that they could do with a run-through power wash simulator, if you've ever played that, which I haven't. I have seen people doing it. I'm not quite sure I'm not sure what's worse, that people play power wash simulator, or that people watch people playing power wash simulator. If you get the point I'm making there. But yeah. Let's wait for the rest of these lights to come on. And there probably is more detailing I could be doing at this point. At the moment I'm not. I'm waiting to see where things go. I don't want to spend the money, even though the money's not great on detailing. There are other things I want to spend it on. I think I am going to put in a bit more industry back here. I'll just put in like that. I'll leave the centre area free. That'll let a little bit more spawn in. It's all tax revenue at the end of the day, and like I say, this area here is just going to be left empty. It's going to end up looking a bit like polluted wasteland. I just mind you, that's a thought. Find some props that look like polluted wasteland, piles of rubbish and what have you. In fact, there is one that I've seen, which I quite like the look of. There we go. It's a British housing estate. There we go. There's a burnt out car in among the trees. Just one. Quite an old style car, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay. Forgive me for I have sinned. Right. Traffic. Let's have a little look at the overview. 85%. I mean, to say how few big roads I've got in here. And I've got a few 3-lane asymmetrics. I've got one stretch of small 4-lane. The rest of it's all just 2-lane roads, apart from some 1-lane alleyways. And it seems to be working. Tesco's is still showing no visitors. Mind you, it's closed, which is probably why there's none. I did find the petrol station in the end. Yes, I just had to go in and remove the growable bit. And then that kicked in. That's employing people. Put a wall around it, put some recycling bins in, put a few containers. Yeah, it's got a few other bins around the back. Just a little bit. So I put the wall on there. Yeah. I always do that. Click the wrong one. What I meant to click was that one. So here we have the overview again. I quite like this. This is the Tingewick area with the new Tesco's we've just been looking at, which I think looks quite nice. This here is the original area, Muxton, with its industrial area, shopping, a few little plaza-y bits. Probably could do with a few more bits and pieces there. I have got no idea where this is, although it's probably... Oh yes, this is part of the new area. Coming into the main town. This is Royston Cross, I believe, where the bus lanes are on the little football stadium. Just a gentle road coming round into the middle of nowhere. That could be anywhere. I think that's part of the new town. Yeah. There's somebody doing a runner. Anyway, until the next time, I will catch you all again. Thank you very much, once again, and goodbye.